Yeah. Okay. Hey, there are the comments. Okay. This is all good. Everything seems to be working. We've got 9 likes. Uh, so we're using new video conferencing software stuff.
Is that the
And
is that the technical word?
yes, I don't know what it is. So we're using Ecamm Live this evening, which I have just recently got going. And wow, we get these. Look, everybody's hey, Kenny. They're just popping up there.
What, on the screen?
Yeah. See, look.
Automatically?
Hello, Shane. Yeah, they're just automatically popping up there. I don't know how to stop it.
Oh no.
Oh, but
I'm looking at the broadcast over here, and I don't see any comments on the screen.
I think. Well, I think they like happen. I don't know. I don't
Come
know.
come beta test with us, everybody.
Yeah. Well, we gotta figure this thing out. It's just how it is. Who gave a dislike? Who gave a dislike? All right, somebody in here gave a dislike. I see it right there. I've got so much more information now. Toronto is in the house. So, Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. Here we are. We've got. It's almost like a professional setup now. Fred, how you
Almost.
doing? Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about tonight. Viper has a rant waiting for us here in a little while, but
Uh-oh.
we'll talk about iPhone a little bit. Kind of do a little bit of iPhone catch up, and then
Oh no. We're not starting a podcast like this. We are not starting a podcast like this. Who had the music? Which one
I,
of you gentlemen had the music?
I
I
got
mean,
the
I have it. I know which button to push this week, but Jason has a whole fancy thing. So maybe he does okay. And then I'll push this.
All right, all right, all right.
And then push the other thing, Jason.
what other thing?
The 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 80s thing.
Oh yeah.
Do it.
What that?
No.
Oh yeah, I got this too.
Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, in another episode of the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. Here we are. Once again, it is Tuesday, the 27th of October, 2020, in this, the year of our Lord, trying to kill us. The pandemic is going full force, but we're still here. We're still here talking about all kinds of different stuff tech related. As I said, tonight we're trying out for the first time Ecamm Live, which is a live streaming / recording software thing, and they gave me they I have some sound effects that I didn't have before.
Cucumber.
Wow.
So yeah, here we are. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro.
Hey, we already have a super chat.
We do.
Okay, and that does not show up in our eCam thing. So
No, the super chat not sure. Where did it go? Okay.
It's in the
I
main
see.
chat.
I see. We got Shane with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Why would you dislike, Shane? You've paid way too much money to dislike the stream. Oh, but yeah, so we're going to talk iPhone. I guess there's some other new stuff coming down the pike, as it were. And so, yeah. Jason should be in the middle. It didn't give me the option for me in the middle. I guess. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
We went through some testing before, and we can't. And as it stands right now, we don't know. Or Jason's in control of everything, but it doesn't look like there's a way to, widen everything, or to put Jason in the middle, or to make me look better. I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah, it's a brand new thing. We got the audio working, which was a little bit more challenging than I expected. Alan, good evening to you.
listen, B Mac, you know what's going on, sir. I have to wait 2 more weeks before I can pre-order my iPhone. Don't remind me, B-Mac. Don't remind me.
I just gotta say, I think if iPhone release day happens and you don't have an iPhone, then you relinquish the title Captain of Team Apple.
Oh, you're trying to start fighting on the podcast tonight. I see.
Uh-oh.
Listen, Mr. Painfully Honest Troll. Listen very closely. You know what's going on. Apple staggered the releases this year.
Oh, I
and
know.
because I want the more expensive iPhone, I am being penalized. I have to wait. So I am waiting
Well,
patiently.
maybe if you wouldn't have gotten yourself a Galaxy Z Fold 2, maybe you're the captain of Team Samsung now.
Oh, you're not about to make me feel bad about that. I have no regrets. I have 0 regrets about that.
Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Genosis asks, did Zach and Viper need to install anything? No. It's all just a link. It's all just a link. I send a link, and then they click the link and come in, and it's good. It's cool. It's cool, and I can do all kinds of stuff. I can show my overhead camera. Look, there's my camera, my overhead camera shut off.
Come on, Jason. Come on.
It shut off. It did the timeout.
Oh,
So anyway, yeah. So I'm the only one who has an iPhone out of this entire group. I've got 2.
And you have 2.
it's not a very big group. It's just 3 of us.
I know, but it's just odd that iPhone Day came and like I'm the only one who has an iPhone.
You might be the only one who has an iPhone, but I got an iPhone rant too. I got rant for everybody, damn it.
Oh,
Well, I'm curious. After seeing all the videos and hearing all the stuff about the new iPhones, how are you guys feeling about iPhone 12 and 12 Pro? Like, what's your sense of the zeitgeist? The everybody out there is feeling X way or Y way or whatever in terms of this iPhone.
I'll say this. Like I told you guys, I don't have any iPhone, so I don't have any hands-on experience. But from what I'm getting and what I'm feeling out there in the tech space, it seems like this year, more than any year, the iPhone 12 Pro is literally in no man's land. Basically meaning it's not really needed. Like, it is so similar to the 12 from what I'm hearing that you could just get the iPhone 12 and be pretty good with what you got this year. You do not need an iPhone 12 Pro at all. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, yeah.
I knew it.
Here's the thing. I mean, build wise, the 12 Pro is nicer. It feels a little bit more substantial than the 12 does. I fell in love with these gold rails, but whatever this is on the back,
Yeah,
I am not.
it's not as it's not as gold looking as I thought it would be. In fact, when I watched a channel today, this gentleman also bent an iPhone 6 back in the day, but he had a gold one on there, and I was trying to figure out, is that like a white translucent piece of paper that's on the back of his phone?
Yeah,
and no, it's what it looks like.
No, I mean it's not gold. It's tan. It's like sand colored.
It's tan.
It's just sand colored, and it's not really all that good looking. I mean, when I did my unboxing, I opened up the box and I was like, oh, I'm already not happy with this color.
Renee. Oh, we know, Renee. We know.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
you know, Renee has a good point. Now, I have been shooting some photos. I have been shooting and using this phone more than the other. The 12 does feel less premium. However, in some ways, like the aluminum on the rails, the aluminium, man, somebody like went after me in the comments of my video for saying aluminium.
Did you really?
Somebody, yeah, I did. I just said it as a joke. Like I think I said it in both videos, and and somebody was like, "The way that you say aluminum really makes me angry."
If you really want to
get
trigger them,
over it.
switch between both words, like
Yeah.
during the whole thing.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I love the gold rails. I think that the problem is, and I think every video that I've watched about these phones so far has said this: if the 12 Pro had 120 hertz and the 12 did not, that would be potentially a differentiating factor that would push people toward the 12. But since it doesn't, and I know that this phone is like super duper fast, and I recognize that, but it's still just, I mean, it works like an iPhone. So I'm sitting here thinking about, okay, so at the end of the week, I'm going to do my, iPhone 12 Pro after 1 week thing. And honestly, this is the first time that I don't feel like I can get very excited about either one of them. I like them. I like the design. I like the speed. I like the new stuff, but I don't know.
Does it feel sharp in your hand? But those new flat edges, does it feel?
No, it's a nice sort of rolled off, but not like
Not like the 11, right?
no. It's
Let me ask you this. Okay, so you see how I'm holding my 11, right? You see where that corner is down there?
yeah.
Right? Does the 11 feel more comfortable, or does the 12, or does it both feel the same? Do you know what I mean?
I think they're both comfortable, but the thing is, like, the flat sides are better.
Okay.
I like the flat sides more, but it's weird. It doesn't feel new to me. That's the thing that I was thinking, like, oh man, they're gonna put the flat sides on, and I'm gonna be so excited because that's the design that I like the most of all the iPhones, and it just feels and looks like a bigger iPhone 4.
I'll tell you this.
I have a creative question for you, Jason.
Yeah.
Given that you just said that you don't really feel like the newness with the 12 and the 12 Pro, when you do go ahead and make your 1 week video, are you going to make 2 separate videos, or are you going to combine it all into one video, both the 12 and the 12 Pro?
I think I'm gonna combine them. Like I did the separate like first impressions videos, but I think Marquez said this in his video that I watched the other day, last night, whatever it is. I think that you can't talk about the differences between one or the other without talking about both. So you can't. The things that are different about the Pro are necessary to talk about to differentiate the experience between both, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
we got Shane with another super chat.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So yeah, I find myself in that weird no man's land of like, it's a very nice device. But iOS 14 is not new to me. And so it's just a nice, different looking iPhone.
So, Jason, going back to my original idea of my questioning, do you, Jason, given the fact that you have both phones, do you feel like the iPhone 12 Pro is necessary this year?
Ah, man.
He's on the hot seat. He doesn't know what to do with himself right now, y'all. He's pondering.
Here's the problem, though. I mean, you can argue it both ways. Now that the 12 has an OLED screen, and a lot of the things that, some of the things that people were complaining about when it came to the less expensive iPhones, some of those things have been fixed. So there's less space between them. And the only difference is more RAM, as Renee said, and extra camera lens and some extra camera functionality that comes with that. A little bit more premium all around feel and look. Like this definitely feels like a more expensive phone. It's a little bit heavier. It feels like a premium device. Not that the other one feels cheap, but it feels like that's the sports model. Like the sport model, and this is the like,
Right.
the upsell.
I'll tell you this. Like I almost went out yesterday and picked up a 12 Pro. They're in stock at the Apple stores here in Calgary.
Right.
I don't really care about color, although I am drawn to the gold until I saw Lou's video today. But anyway,
This is.
I keep on
Still
coming
getting
across.
it, damn it. I'm still getting it.
I keep on coming across tweets and things like that from other people because I was really drawn to the whole Dolby HDR.
Yeah.
But then I see that some platforms like Instagram, I think it was Brian Tong that put out a tweet saying it's just a mess over there. It doesn't look good. But of course, then you have Jonathan Morrison, coming out with these beautiful videos with that gal Wolf. What a voice! And it's just like right? So
Yeah.
is
The
it really
issue
is
that-
I
I was gonna say the issue with that, I believe on some of the iPhone HDR is turned on by default, where normally it's turned off. So if it's turned on and you don't know it's turned on, then your footage and things are gonna look a little wonky.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading. I think it was Michael Fisher tweeted, I think yesterday, that he was shooting camera stuff all weekend and didn't realize that he had HDR turned on, and then he was trying to figure out some kind of way to transpose it into something else. So yeah, that's a problem, because the average person isn't going to think like, okay, I can watch my Dolby Vision HDR content on my phone. I could watch it on my LG television. But as soon as they try and watch it on something that doesn't support HDR or Dolby HDR, they're going to be like, oh, what's that?
Like my monitor here has HDR, but not Dolby.
Right.
And so some of the stuff I tried to play back didn't look any better, but it looked fantastic on my Note. Like it looked right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that there is some confusion, and I think it's going to be worth talking about that when the time comes. The iPhone has always been bad for turning things on automatically that don't need to be automatically turned on. Like every time I get a new iPhone and I start to take pictures, that stupid live mode is always on.
Yeah. That ticked my dad off too. He's like, "How do I turn this off?"
Yeah, and it would be one thing if it did the live mode thing, but it still took decent pictures. But it doesn't. It takes like 3 kind of crappy pictures. So it's like, and live photos were interesting. What 2017 when they came out? But does anybody care about live photos now?
Well, I'll tell you this: there are advantages to it depending on where you're taking photos and everything. So, for example, when I went up to Moraine Lake earlier this year, I purposely turned on that setting so that after I took my photo, I could go into the options, and of course, there's 3 different types of photos that are in there because of that live photo, and I got more of a smooth Peter McKinnon-ish looking type effect to the water. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's cool if you know to look for that kind of stuff.
Right.
If you're into iPhone photography and everything like that, which I know is a thing. Right.
So yeah, it's just very weird. It's hard for me to say because I like this design so much better. And when I look at my iPhone 11, I think that looks old now. That looks out of date. This looks like the new hotness.
Oh yeah.
But I don't find myself like last year. I was really excited. Maybe I will be when I get the Pro. The Max. When I get the Max, maybe that'll be the thing. But this is also the first year that we've had the Pro, but not the Pro Max or Plus or whatever. That they come at different times. So I think that's impacting my experience to a certain point as well.
So here's another question for you, Jason. You got the Gold 12 Pro. So if you are getting the Pro Max, what color are you getting?
I think I'll go for graphite. However, I might end up with a 256 black 12 as like the extra couple of $100 premium. And the, I don't know. I haven't seen any of the other colors in person. I know that I don't care about blue. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care. I have the blue 12. And it's okay, but blue is just like, I don't know. Blue's not a phone color to me.
I mean, it looks like a Smurf.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, well, there's some.
It gets
Besides
really
that-
blue, right?
Well,
Besides that, Zach, do you have anything else to say about the 12 and the 12 Pro before I go into my first rant of the evening?
I'm gonna get one. I just don't know. I don't know if I want to go max or regular. Do you know what I mean? I'm still on the fence, but I know because like from a consumer, from a creative perspective, yes, I'd like to talk about it and then bring it to the audience that I have here, right? But at the same time, from a consumer perspective, for someone that uses it every day, is it that much of a jump, or is it that much of an increase over my Pro from last year? I don't think so. I don't think so overall. In elements here and there, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm anxious to see the camera on the Max is like kind of will be the ultimate defining thing to me. I think otherwise, yeah. This year, to me, the iPhones to get are going to be just the regular 12 and the Max, and the other ones are like kind of in between. And the Pro last year was kind of in between to begin with, and now there's just not a whole lot of difference between it and the 12.
I also think the Mini is going to be a hot seller too, because people have been clamoring for a smaller iPhone for a while now. Now they get it with the Mini.
Yeah.
And before Viper starts here, I did find that article I was going to talk to you guys about the warning from Apple.
Oh, okay.
And everything. We're going to get into that because I have it all right here. But sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
We'll see. We'll see the floor to Viper for his rant and see where that takes us.
Oh,
Sure.
you're so kind. I love you, Jason. You're so kind. Okay, people. So it has come to national attention since these iPhones have launched that obviously we know that Apple is they're releasing the MagSafe accessory if you want to charge your iPhone wirelessly with the MagSafe charger. Now, we also know that the MagSafe charger does not come with a charging brick. But it come to my attention that apparently Apple is advertising the MagSafe as charging at 15 watts. But you only get that 15-watt charging if you use Apple's 20-watt charging brick. And people are up in arms. They're calling Apple anti-consumer. They're saying Apple is being negative to the consumer. Blah, 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 blah. Hell no. I don't want to hear this trash. Do you know why I don't want to hear this trash? I don't want to hear this trash because none of you all came with this energy when OnePlus introduced their warp charge technology, which only works with their proprietary cables and bricks. Now,
There
some
were
people
plenty
are saying,
hold on. There's people that complain about that. I know that I did because you have to use their cable and their block.
I mean, if they are nearly as loud as they're being now with this Apple stuff. Now, people are telling me, well, Viber is not the same because OnePlus actually provides the brick. And okay, I'll give you that. But still, don't come to me with this noise about Apple using proprietary technology to charge their devices. This is not the first company that's done this. Other companies do this too. I don't want to hear this nonsense. It's nonsense. Miss me completely with this nonsense.
I don't know if the uproar, and I guess that's a proper word, it was as big as it is with Apple, because we know that in North America, there's more Apple devices out there than anything else, right? I mean, than OnePlus. I think that's very safe to say. But I know for a fact, because I even talked about it, I even tweeted about it. I'm sure I could find the tweet if I looked for it. That
why are you holding the random wireless charger?
What's that?
Andrew knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
As soon as you started ranting, I went and got this because this is the Google Pixel stand, and it fast charges, or at least it did.
That's right.
It fast charged the 3 when it came out, but it wouldn't fast charge any other phone.
Yeah, couldn't do nothing. Yep.
So this is not this is not a new thing. I don't know.
It also overheated depending on who. I think Drew had a problem with it overheating his device.
Yeah,
his 3. If I seem to recall, he had a tweet out there about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is not a new thing.
No.
I will tell you this though. I believe that so I used my iPad Pro charger with my MagSafe, and I think I got the fast charge. I didn't really time it or anything. I just had it plugged in while I was watching some TV. But I will say that the MagSafe charger gets a little toasty.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yep.
It gets a little toasty on the back of the phone, and that to me is not necessarily a problem, but it's, I don't know. I think that people might be concerned about that. I will say this though. This is the first time that I've charged a phone. One of the problems I've always had with wireless charging is that if you need to charge your phone, you have to put it down, right? With MagSafe, you can hold your phone, you can keep using it, and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that's not something I've heard other people talk about. And to me, that's like a plus. Another plus added on to that is the fact that not only can you hold it, but you don't have like the thing sticking out of the port in the bottom. So it's more, you're still able to hold it the way that you would normally hold your phone without that cable like digging into the heel of your hand or whatever. So I think the MagSafe is really cool in that sense. I like that it gives us a different option. I like that it makes the phone usable while charging and still using wireless charging. But yeah, it's just a little warm. It's a little
so I want
warm.
to. This kind of piggybacks on what you're talking about there with the MagSafe. I shared a screen there. This is an article from Mac Rumors, and we've seen some people talk about this as well, about how some MagSafe accessories are leaving marks. And if you scroll down further in the article, Apple's support documents also outline some of their MagSafe information. Apple says users should not place credit cards, security badges, passwords, or key fobs between the phone, MagSafe, because they might damage because of the magnetic strips, RFID, because there's magnets in there, right?
Yeah.
Apple says that if a phone's battery gets too warm while charging with MagSafe, software will limit the charging above 80%. So thermals, right, which we know is not good for lithium-ion batteries. If an iPhone has both MagSafe charger attached and a lightning cable plugged in, charging will occur via the lightning only. So in other words, you can put both, but only the lightning will work, right. Et cetera, et cetera. So Apple is aware. It's interesting. That image is not showing up very well, but there's a clear circle here from the Mag.
Yeah, I see
charger
it.
thing.
Yeah, I can see.
So
it.
going back to what I was ranting about, Zach just read a thing that says that he said something about Apple only damn, I forgot. I can't even remember now. There was something in that article that alluded to Apple with the advertising fee being 15 watts, only using Apple's proprietary 20-watt brick. Because the reason why Apple has that in place for only their brick is because they know that a lot of people are going to use aftermarket chargers, and they don't want the iPhone being charged to a rate that it can't handle because it's already getting hot on MagSafe with Apple brick. So in order to limit possible Note 7 situations, they probably have a cap to where it only charges at the advertised 15 watts with their brick and nobody else's brick. So that's why I think that's like they have it set up the way it is.
That makes sense. I mean, it's definitely it definitely makes sense that would be the case. But I think it. Oh yeah, you are the only one on the screen. Right? We gotta change that.
Yeah, can't do me like this. I don't have my lights turned on.
Okay, and where am I? Okay, see now. There we go. I'm figuring this stuff out. I figured out how to add the chats to the thingy here, so that's good.
Cool.
But ultimately, this to me is like a non-argument. It's like
What would
the good, like the Alki chargers and everything else, they cost as much as the 20-watt brick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like Apple's price gouging here, right? It's not like Apple's charger's $50 and everybody else's is 20, and the only one that'll fast charge is Apple's, right? So that I don't know.
No, and the other thing is that it's not like Apple charger is the only one that works with the MagSafe. You can use any charger with the MagSafe, but you only get those advertised 15-watt charging speeds with Apple Brick. And I don't have a problem with that, especially if it increases safety measures and things like that. I have no issue with that. But everybody else making noise about this, y'all need to calm down to go sit down somewhere. Just go sit down.
Well,
here's a real concern I have about the whole MagSafe stuff. Now, obviously, Apple has thought about this, and the circle of magnets that are within the iPhone are far enough away from the actual cameras to not interfere. Because in the past, on some magnet type cases out there, this is before MagSafe, if magnets were too strong or too close to the iPhone's camera, the optical image stabilization, the actual physical one, would actually move around because of the magnets and everything like that.
Yeah.
My worry is that with third parties that are trying to work with mag, maybe if they put too strong of a magnet in there or too large getting up to that module, is that going to interfere with camera functionality? Because I have run into accessories in the past of brands that have done that. I'm not going to mention who, but because they took them off the market. But you could clearly see as soon as you put that magnet case on or something like that, that camera would start moving around. It was shaking more than Michael J. Fox. It was crazy.
No,
Was that? Oh,
Zach,
that was harsh.
That was too much. That was
Sorry.
too much.
Sorry.
Too much. Apologies for Zach's insensitivity.
Sorry.
But here. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Shane. Shane, thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna say that right now. He's made his own MagSafe charger mount for his car, which makes sense. I mean, we don't have to wait for Belkin to make theirs. We can figure this thing out. And we also have a new member in the house. Here we have Rowboat NC. So welcome, Rowboat. Let me see. I got. It's not nearly as good an applause as what I had before, but it's applause nonetheless. And I appreciate the new membership. I appreciate the super chats. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Rich. But I do want to bring this up here. Nene says, "Why are we making excuses for Apple?" Why
We're arguing multiple sides, are we not?
I don't think we're making excuses for Apple. I think that
somebody better get their man. Somebody better get their man real quick.
But the thing is like, it's a non-issue to me. It's a non-issue to me. I figure if you want fast charging, go get a fast charging brick and plug in the thing. If you want, but if it doesn't seem to me like MagSafe is really something that would be designed to be for fast charging. It's like, I don't care. If I can hold the phone and use it while it's charging, so what the heck do I care? Right?
Okay. No, now it's my turn. So we got this dude in the chat talking about how people are making excuses for Apple. Well, I believe that all three of us on this panel vehemently disagree with Apple removing the charger from the box. So the fact that we vehemently disagree, are we still making excuses for Apple? Because I'm pretty sure all of us disagree with them removing the charger from the box. That's not cool in no language. That's garbage, okay? And they're excuse for doing it. Garbage. You what?
I did an hour and a half long rant. I mean,
right? I also I made two different videos. I made one when they announced it, and I made another when they put out the phone. So yes.
So don't back in the podcast talk about we're making excuses for Apple. No. We call them out when they need to be called out, but we also recognize a fade when it's a fade. This whole MagSafe 20-watt brick business is much to do about nothing.
Agreed. At the end of the day, Apple's made an accessory, right? They've made an accessory for their phones. There's going to be a whole ecosystem that springs up around that accessory. It's going to be in a lot of other products, I'm going to imagine. And it's and it's a non-issue.
Yeah, and you still have the regular charging port, right?
For now. For now. I still
I think Apple's looking to wait to see. I mean, they obviously have a few. I mean, we can see it already. They took out the brick, right? They took out, and now they got the MagSafe. So obviously, I mean, some people have asked me, when do you think they're going to go portless? I don't think it's going to be next year. I think at the earliest, 2023, and it's not going to be until they have enough third-party, whether it's the Belkins and all that kind of stuff out there that are making enough stuff, and people have kind of climatized to it to go completely portless.
I think I said last week 2022 was when I thought they were going to go, because see, I think that although I have no real evidence toward this, I just have a feeling that 2022 is when we're going to lose the notch. And I think that'll be the next that'll be the next evolution in iPhone design. And so they always take something away when they go to a new design, right? So
I think in 2025 we will just get stickers in a box.
A sticker, only one.
A sticker, no phone, no.
Man, even the like little manual thing was like just a flimsy piece of paper.
I saw people complaining on Twitter that they only got one sticker. Are you serious? Of all the things,
well, I think a lot of people were joking, but yeah, I mean, it's like you open up the box and there's only one sticker. There's always been two stickers.
So, Jason, since you have two iPhone 12 in your possession, we have to ask the hard question.
Yes.
The hard question, Jason, is: have you found 5G?
Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, sitting in my living room, I have to turn off Wi-Fi in order to get the 5G. But I did get 5G. I've got 5G right now. Let me see if I can.
Wait. You have 5G right now inside? Wow.
It's not.
So hold on.
5G.
Jason, you found the G spot?
I found 5 of them.
You found.
I didn't know there were 5. But,
wow.
Yeah. So I've got 5G here inside the house. And I did a speed test with the speed test app, and I was getting like 30 megabits per second download with 4G, right? Okay. And then 60 with this 5G. So it's twice as good as what I was getting, but it's still not like what 5G can really do, right?
I know, Viper. It's like it's barely a golf clap.
Yeah, it's a golf clapping. We're golf. Oh yes,
no,
60.
I'm not impressed. You actually got twice the speed inside with that 5G. That's pretty good. I have no problem with that.
Well, see, this must be that sub 6 5G, right?
It must be.
And so that's why it's slower. But
Renee got 5G inside too. Nice. Okay.
Let's be honest. Rogers is putting up towers like outside his front door. Okay, let's just be honest.
he's got a tower inside. It's like his chandelier above that whole camera setup he's got is a 5G tower.
Renee making those phone calls during the day. You know who I am? Put the tower there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So Renee's getting 300 megabits per second. That's crazy. But yeah, it's for me again twice what I get on LTE is what I was getting with the 5G.
Okay then. Okay. I mean, I'm still not saying kumbaya about it, but that's actually pretty good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could run a speed test on my Wi-Fi and see what I get there. And then we'll know what's really going on. But okay, here we go.
Andrew Edwards got 5G in the house too. Nice. Okay, now I'm excited.
Of
Okay,
course he does. They built a trench and they put that fiber directly to his house. Remember?
Okay, I'm gonna retest. Test again. This is on my Wi-Fi.
These guys
So-
got the hookups.
Well, I'm impressed. Okay. 260.
Okay. I mean, but if you're getting twice the speed that you normally get inside of your house with that Verizon Sub-6 5G, then I'm impressed. That's nice.
Yeah. So it is faster. But I think one of these days, 5G is going to be like, we'll look at 200 plus megabits per second or whatever, and be like, oh, well, that's nice. How do you even live? How do you even live? So it's yeah. I don't know. I'm impressed with the fact that Apple releases the iPhone and suddenly 5G appears in a lot more places, right?
5G is here.
It's weird. Like that whole somebody made up clipped up the Twitter on Twitter. They clipped up the keynote and they clipped up how many times Apple and Tim Cook said 5G, and it was like so many times.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy though. I mean, like Jason said, it's funny that 5G was pretty much an afterthought before this iPhone keynote, but now all of a sudden magically he's getting 5G inside of his house. I mean, I guess that truly goes to show the power of Apple and iPhone. I mean, I was questioning it, but I guess it's real. It's legit.
Yeah. I didn't think so I live in Iowa, right? There was like one 5G spot in Iowa total before Apple released the iPhone 12. And now I've got like 5G in my house. So John Williamson III says, I'm honestly just not that impressed with iPhones this year. And I can understand that. I mean, I'm not impressed. Like, are we beyond the point of being impressed by phones at this point?
No.
I mean, I don't think.
Well, I mean, you get, if you look at something like the Galaxy Fold phones or something like that. Yeah, I see things that are pushing the envelope. Yes, those can be impressive. What is impressive about the iPhones is these iterative steps that they've taken. Like the screen is better, the camera is better, 5G exists. I mean, that's something, right?
Gabriel, bad. You're bad, Gabriel. You're bad.
Gabriel with the super chat. All right, here we go.
Show me the money!
I should save that for my shows, but here it is.
Hey, Jason, do you have any other 5G phones on your person?
Not on my person at this moment, but I do have other 5G phones. I have to switch out my SIM card into my Note 20 Ultra.
I'm getting my first 5G device sent to me. It'll be here on Thursday, so I'm looking forward to
I do have another 5G device.
Oh, you got
one of those.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't even taken it out of the box yet. TCL 10 5G.
Now that's a Verizon exclusive, correct?
It is.
Yeah.
And it comes in like, this is the fancy. I'm a YouTuber package.
Yeah. You got the reviewer package. Nice.
Yeah, but
Nice.
I haven't opened it up yet. I was gonna open it up last night, but I didn't feel like filming anything, so I want to open it up while filming and all that. So I have that footage. But yeah, this is a $400 phone. This TCL 10 5G. I mean, are we past the point where we can compare the iPhones versus the Androids? I mean, I will say this. Okay. And I don't know if I'm going to feel this way when I get the Max. But holding my iPhone and holding my Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, the Note 20 Ultra just feels better. I've never said that about another phone compared to the iPhone. But the Note 20 Ultra, like there's just something about the way that it's made this year.
Is it because it's narrower? It is narrower, correct? A little bit.
A little bit, but like it has the squared off bottom and top and like a little bit fatter edge than the Notes have had in the past. And yeah, it's just it just feels really good. And not to say that this feels bad, but it just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, the Note is an elite phone this year. I mean, that phone is just killing it all over build quality and beyond. So
yeah, I mean, now I'm thinking like, do I do a video comparing the Note 20 Ultra to the iPhone 12 Pro or Pro Max?
Absolutely, you do.
But I'm at the point now where I don't really know how to assess those two phones compared to one another. You know, it's like, because the iPhone is an iPhone, right? And I've been taking notes on a video that I want to make that's basically like the iPhone 12 doesn't matter, or like whatever iPhone you have doesn't matter, because what really matters about an iPhone is the operating system.
Yeah, the software, yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah, you might get a few more features with the newer model, et cetera, but iOS 14 is the big change this year. And you can get iOS 14 all the way down to the 6 Plus or the 6S and 6S Plus.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's 5 years worth of phones that you can have that iOS 14 experience on.
I don't know if you can compare like the entire devices, but you could compare, for example, the camera systems on both, right? Like, and that interactivity, is that a word? That interaction. So, for example, yeah. So, like, I'm kind of echoing what teasing here. I agree what he's saying here. I don't think you can compare them like entirely, because of, first and foremost, people get iPhones because they like that iPhone ecosystem. They like that, the way that is, right? The way that an iPhone interacts with you is completely different from a Samsung, right? But I mean, if you're really into mobile photography, maybe you want to see that, right? Like, for example, with a Samsung or pretty much any other Android device, you can change all your settings right there, as an example, within the camera application.
Right.
With an iPhone, you only have so much that you can change.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, I have found that, like, so I was taking photos for my thumbnails the other day, and I was like trying to get a certain kind of shot, and I had my A6400 and a couple of different lenses, and I was trying to get the shot, and it just wasn't happening. Lighting, especially the 12, was really hard because it's a glossy phone, and you can almost like not get any angle that doesn't have gloss all over it. I got out the iPhone 12 Pro, took 2 photos of the 12, and got the shot that I was looking for. And then in the not in like Canva or any of those third-party apps, right inside of the Apple like Photos app, I put on a filter, and it was like, oh, that looks exactly like what I was seeing in my head. So that impressed me. And I took a bunch of low light shots. I put them up on Twitter and Instagram on Friday when I got the phone. And I felt like I was getting better shots more quickly, and I haven't compared it to like the night mode of any other phones or anything like that. But I was like, the only light that I had in my room was like LED light bulbs, like no direct lighting of any kind whatsoever. And just kind of trying to pull the light out of what I had there in the room. And I thought those shots came out really well. They came out looking like what I was hoping they would look like. So that to me is something that I've not had the same kind of experience with other smartphone cameras, but I haven't put them head to head either, because this is the first time that I've really, like, the features on the iPhone cameras this year are such that I really want to see how far they've come compared to last year, compared to the Galaxy phones. I don't have a Pixel, but I've seen some comparisons of Pixel versus iPhone versus Samsung on Twitter and Instagram and other places, and I have to say, like, to my eye, and this is just to my eye, the iPhone looks better than all of them, and the Pixel looks a little darker, which I think a lot of people will say, well, that's dynamic range, but to me, it just looks darker. And like the Galaxy stuff is always a little hyped and just like kind of blown out. Whereas the iPhone, it's probably just like the kind of photograph that I prefer is something that's like very, very real, or like true to the subject. And so it just looked, they just looked right to me.
Yeah.
Before you go, Zach, I have to press the button. Excuse me. Oh, shots fired! Shots fired on the podcast. All right, go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna say that we've talked about before that typically like Samsung photos, whether they're edited. I mean, we're talking about unedited, obviously. Typically are more saturated and things like that. Like for example, like I said, it was Moraine Lake earlier this year, and the iPhone photos were definitely more true to what I was seeing, whereas the Galaxy photos were more like the blue was really out there, right?
Right.
But then it's funny depending on like, especially with like Instagram, for example, when you're posting stuff to Instagram, photos that are typically, I don't want to say blown out, but really saturated like that, like are unedited, like a Samsung type photos, typically get a lot more traction, a lot more likes and this and that, and more views than, someone with an iPhone. Now, I know a lot of people that do mobile photography, they'll typically take that image that was taken with an iPhone, whatever, and they'll go into Lightroom or Darkroom,
right,
and they'll tweak this and that, right? So, I mean, there's different ways, right? So,
yeah, I've always used Photoshop, never used Lightroom, and I'm not very good at color correcting photos in the first place. But I downloaded Lightroom just to see if I could figure out how to do it. I didn't know what I was doing, so I was like, there's too much stuff here. But I get what I'm looking for out of iPhone cameras more often than not. And that's not just like a quick point and shoot, which I think is the performance that matters the most. Like
would you agree with the statement that you find iPhone cameras more dependable to get the shot the first time than something else?
Yes. Yeah. I have had that experience myself. Mm-hmm. Now, other people will probably have had inverse experiences because maybe they've used Samsung or Pixel or whatever cameras more. I've used iPhone cameras since iPhones happened, and I used to have this photo app called 8mm. And I used to, man, I loved the filters in that app. I took some of my favorite photos ever in that app. And I've always been able to just push the iPhone toward something instead of just like, I don't know. Whenever I take photos, I want to be pushed in on something, so that it's like more dramatic. And the iPhone always seems to give me what I'm seeing in my head. And that's totally subjective. And, other people have obviously had different experiences, but for me, I always get what I'm looking for out of an iPhone camera more often than not.
Okay, it's time for Piper going to a mini rant. Let's talk to Stephen. Let's talk to Stephen D for a minute. So Stephen D says that he thinks it's stuck that the iPhone 12 Pro Max contains a slightly better camera, which he believes they could include it on the 12 Pro. And while you might be right, Stephen D, people seem to gloss over this whole idea of exclusivity, right? The iPhone 12 Pro Max is a whole $100 more than the 12 Pro. Apple has to give you an incentive or reason to spend the extra money. If they don't do that, then there's no reason for you to go out and buy the Pro Max. Now, in the past, yes, the Pro Max and the Pros have had parity, but this year, Apple decided to actually make use of the additional room in the Pro Max to give you better technology. So I'm sorry if you guys feel some type of way that the Pro and Pro Max don't have the same camera tech. Exclusivity is a thing. Making something desirable is a thing. Apple
But the
wants you to pay the most
exclusivity.
money possible. Yes, exclusivity. Apple
Well,
wants
well,
you to spend the most money possible. So yes, they're going to differentiate the Pro and the Pro Max. It is what it is.
the exclusivity used to be bigger camera, bigger battery, right? Those are, I mean, those are obvious, right? It's bigger.
Bigger.
Going across Apple's advertising that I've been carefully watching ever since the phones were released, you can only find those camera differences if you're one of those people that goes, tech specs compare on the Apple website. It's not actively like in your face. Do you know what I mean? The obvious ones are, it's bigger battery, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they did that. And it's definitely something that I guess more like the nerds, like the geeks and nerds like us would have to dig for. So
I complained for 6 years that I felt like Apple never took advantage of the extra screen real estate with plus size iPhones. So I am glad that finally Apple is starting to realize that yes, you make bigger phones, actually take advantage of the extra real estate. Now, I was talking more about software when I was ranting the past 6 years because I was mad that we didn't have picture-in-picture, but we have that now. But I'm also glad to see Apple trickle that over into the actual hardware. Yes, the iPhone Pro Max is bigger. So yes, it should have more hardware, and they should actually give you reasons why you go out and spend an extra $100 on a Pro Max because they have better camera, bigger battery, blah, blah, blah. So I don't have a problem with this.
Well, okay. I always liked the fact that Apple didn't do that. That Apple made the big phone and the not so big phone, and they were basically the same phone, just one was bigger. Whereas Samsung has always had like the extra clear coat factor for the upsell. Look at the S20 Ultra this year. Everybody wanted the S20 Ultra because it had 100 billion times zoom or whatever it was, which turned out to be crap. Which turned out to be a crap feature, right? That camera couldn't focus, all kinds of stuff. I always liked that. Well, when the Plus phones were first introduced, it was like the choice of like, well, you can have the regular sort of smaller phone. That's what we've had for a long time, or you can have the bigger phone, and that's what was the selling point of the Plus phone. The Max phone now seems like they're trying to push it into that area like you're talking about, where there's a differentiating feature that is making it something different than the other Pro phone. I think I don't have any like hard evidence, but I think also the fact that it's a bigger phone made it possible to do what they've done with the camera, whereas they couldn't do exactly the same thing in
Bingo.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm finding this iPhone season to be like, I was really excited on iPhone Day, and now I'm kind of just like somewhere in no man's land.
I'm really interested to see once people get both the Pro and the Pro Max in their hands and they're showing the camera differences. I think in general on social media, you probably won't be able to see the difference. I think when it comes from I think if people are taking the photo and they're putting it on Twitter, Instagram, you probably won't be able to see the difference. Where the difference will come in is if someone's taking those images and they're putting it into Lightroom, Photoshop, Darkroom, whatever, and they have more information or better information to work with. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think, and I hate saying this phrase, the average person, the average consumer is going to see a huge difference. Do you know what I mean?
Well, see, this brings us around to the argument that we had last year, and that I think we are due to have this year as well. I mean, Renee makes a good point. Max is also the same price as it was last year, as is the Pro, and we get more goodness. So, I mean, what we complain about from year to year is it's a moving target. This year we're complaining about 120 hertz, and it's been, something else at 1080p or, OLED screens or whatever, year in and year out. And the thing for me is, now we have to ask the question: are the Pro phones really more Pro this year? Because I think Zach's right. The average user is going to grab the iPhone 12 or the iPhone 12 Pro and get basically the same results, and that's what they're looking for, and they're not but the promise of these phones, especially in the video department, is that we are getting something much, much better than we've had in years past. And so now they're calling these phones Pro. And are they?
Oh, no. Okay, Jason. Let's continue along these lines, Jason. Me and you did an entire podcast last year because we didn't agree with the whole pro marketing term for the iPhone 11. But as you just astutely highlighted, I mean, this year with iPhones, you get Dolby Vision at 4K and 60 on the Pro model. The Pro models also have additional RAM. They have the additional camera lenses with better camera tech. So, Jason, I mean, you have the phones in hand. What say you? Can we call the iPhone 12 Pro model Pro this year? I mean, what do you think?
Well, here's what I'm going to do. Before my video on Friday, I'm going to go out with both cameras, take pictures, do video stuff, try and get a feel for whether or not I feel like the Pro phone is noticeably different, right? So I'm going to do that, and then I'll do the same thing with the Max.
Let me share this with you again as a reminder.
Okay.
So this is between the Pro and the Pro Max. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and this is from Apple's website. If you go to apple.com/iPhone-12-Pro. Okay. So on the wide, which is your main focal, right? 26, both 26 there, and then 1.4 versus 1.7.
Right.
Like, it's so minute. And when you go to the ultra wide is exactly the same between both. Okay.
Right.
So you're going to get the same ultra wide on both. On the main focal, again, 1.4 versus 1.7. You got OIS and you got sensor shift OIS. And then when you go to the telephoto, 52 versus 65. F2 versus f2.2.
Yeah.
Basically, four times optical zoom versus 5 times optical zoom.
Yeah, it's so minute that, again, like I said, I think for most people that are posting to social media and whatnot, you're gonna. I don't know if you'll be able to tell the differences, but I think for people that are editing, right, and they're putting into a software, the more information is obviously better, right?
Right.
And so I think there's definitely a benefit there, but you don't see this actively, like when you go through the main advertising stuff on the website here. You don't see that actively there. Like, this is 3/4 of the way down on the page that I had to find this.
Right.
And
Right.
even when I clicked on tech specs, it's not listed there like this.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? This is definitely for people that are looking for this type of information,
Well,
right?
see,
That want this.
Here's the thing, and Webster brings up a good point. The reason Apple started using the Pro moniker was to denote a sort of marketing differentiation, because there didn't used to be a differentiation. You had an iPad, you had an iPhone, you had a bigger iPhone, right? And now there's quite a bit of difference between the models. So yes, they chose Pro as shorthand for nicer, right? However, this is my question. If you are a professional content creator, of the video or photography, if that's part of what you do, and you're going to buy yourself a new iPhone, how many professionals do you think would choose to just get the iPhone 12?
Like the regular iPhone 12?
Yeah. Is there enough difference in the cameras that a professional user who would want that little bit of extra juice would say, no, I think this is an important differentiation between that phone and this phone. I'm going to pay the extra money because it's going to benefit me in my work.
Yeah, I think there's enough difference there.
Because, I mean, you get an extra camera. You get a whole extra camera lens with the Pro model thing. You know how pros are. They want to have the most versatility possible, and the iPhone 12 Pro model give you the most versatility.
Telephoto
Yes.
makes a big difference. Definitely does.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whereas last year, I don't think I would have said that it really had earned the Pro moniker. I think that this year it gets closer.
I mean, we just had Renee Ritchie in this very podcast comment session earlier tonight say you'd have to pry the telephoto lens out of a cold, dead hand. And
Yeah.
Renee is professional as they come. So Renee is saying that, then what will other professionals say about it? It's serious. It's serious
Well,
out here.
you know,
Handling is inner Charlton Heston. There you go.
yeah, as long as he doesn't, become the head of the NRA, that's fine. But here's the I've seen videos on YouTube of people saying like, I'm going to sell my Sony ZV-1 because I'm getting the iPhone 12 Pro.
I'll
And-
tell you this. I'm actually going to be doing something similar. I'm getting rid of my camcorder, which I've had for 4 or 5 years. And I've already sold off my Lumix G7 because I'm using this now for published and for streaming. And I'm going with my iPhone to shoot B-roll and on my little stand. You guys know that,
yeah.
the dolly, because the videos I've done in the past between this and my camcorder, I cannot tell the difference, and they're both filmed 4K. Right? Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
That I can do that. Do you know what I mean? That's awesome.
Well,
Don't
Andrew,
worry,
That's
Renee.
powerful.
Your phone is safe, Renee. Your phone is safe.
Andrew points out that the Pro model shoots 4K 60 frames.
Yeah.
And so that might not sound like it. I mean, 60 frames per second might not sound like a big deal if you're not using that 60 frames per second for a specific reason. Like, say you want to take that 4K footage and slow it down. At least with 60 frames, you can slow it down a certain amount and not lose fidelity, right? So that to me is something that is going to matter to a professional. And I'm not trying to say that these Pro phones are like, they're not like Leica cameras or they're not professional devices. However, they can be used in more professional applications than they could in years past. And so the iPhones seem to be starting to grow into the more Pro moniker. Although a lot of people who are going to buy the Pro phones are going to buy them because they come in the fancier colors and all that kind of stuff. But
Jason, you didn't even mention the Pro Raw that's coming later on this year.
oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year they're going to have RAW, some version of RAW shooting for stills, which again is another thing that I mean, if you dig deep into photography, if that's something that makes a big difference to you for whatever reason, is there any other smartphone camera out there that shoots in a RAW format?
Not like a phone, not that I know of.
I don't think so either. And as Andrew pointed out in the comments, also like Dolby Vision HDR, which, as we talked about earlier, that brings its own kind of problems to the table.
Well, for now, until those different apps and everything kind of
Yep.
adjust and recognize and everything like that, right? So
Yeah.
Andrew
I think that
over Dolby Vision every chance he gets. I find it hilarious.
I don't know, man. I mean, I saw, I forget whose video I was watching, and they were talking about how Dolby Vision is just one of the codecs for HDR. And, there's all, sort of a war between, so Samsung phones shoot in HDR 10, right? The thing is, there's only one major TV manufacturer that is like married to HDR 10, and that is Samsung. Everybody else, LG, most importantly, is Dolby Vision.
I love how you said most importantly. I wonder why you said most importantly, Jason.
Well, the thing is, this is like this is like beta versus VHS. You know, Dolby HD or HDR10 is Betamax. Dolby Vision is going to be the VHS. It's just how it is. I mean, Blu-ray versus HD DVD. You know, Dolby
For those
Vision.
listening and those that are watching this podcast right now, he said most important because me and Jason happen to own LG television. So let's just put that out.
Well, yeah.
Hey, I like my TCL.
I've got. I mean, I think the mini LED TCL has Dolby Vision. I think I can't remember exactly. So,
oh no, Andrew Evans is saying that the HDR10 is the standard. I don't
know.
It should be interesting because now
he would know more than I would. So I mean, I trust what he's saying. But
it should be interesting to see what happens with the TV adoption now, because you got all these people that are shooting. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, let's see how much influence Apple has over, apps and this and that. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we've seen it before in the past. They do have that influence.
They do. I mean, they got the phone companies to turn on their 5G. Like, it's like, I was wondering.
It works now. It works.
Renee said Betamax better than VHS.
Well, it is. That's true. I mean, it was a better picture, but the machines were, if I recall correctly, the machines were more expensive, and the media was more expensive, and so, I mean, the cheaper thing always wins out. That's, it's scale. VHS was scalable in a way that Betamax was not. So, it's just how it goes. But I remember a friend of mine had a Betamax. You know what the best format was, though, back in the day for playing movies? Laserdisc.
Yes.
Laserdisc. My social studies teacher in my junior year in high school, I guess it was like civics. It was civics. Yeah, I think it was civics. The way that he taught class was he would talk to us about like laissez-faire economics, and then he would like bring in his laser discs and show us like 2 or 3 old movies. So, I was always like, man, Laserdisc, that's cool.
You've heard about the Star Wars despecialized versions?
No,
right?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so there's a whole group and everything like that. But anyway, the majority of the really great footage, it comes from the laser discs from back in the day.
Oh yeah,
that didn't have all the specialized stuff. So there's a group that I can't remember the dude's name. But anyway, he's over the years released version 1, version 2, et cetera, of the despecialized Star Wars movies, and the quality is better than the Blu-rays of the special, like of the current, right? Yeah. And he gets majority of that really great footage from the Laserdisc.
That makes sense.
That was an awesome format back in the day. Still is, right?
Yeah, but again, I mean, giant like record cover sized discs.
They were dangerous if you threw them, man. You could take off somebody's head.
I know. I like the fact that you could just put them in and then take them out.
Yeah.
And
okay.
So we have been deep in the weeds.
We've spent like the last hour and some odd minutes talking about iPhone. I think we've talked about iPhone. I think it's time for us to get into the main event of the evening, my main rant for the evening.
Okay.
You guys have anything else to say about iPhone before I just go off here? I am changing the subject.
not that I can think of.
Zach, you got anything?
Cucumber.
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to push.
So I am changing the subject. I am changing the subject to next generation console.
I knew it was going to be next generation console.
I knew we were going to go there.
Because I'm mad. I'm getting mad. So.
I know why you're mad.
Today, we are exactly 2 weeks away from the launch of next generation console. 2 weeks from today, people. And just today, Sony partially lifted their partial embargo of PlayStation 5. So on YouTube today and all across tech media and gaming media, you got people unboxing the PlayStation 5. And I'm thinking to myself, are you serious? We know what the damn box looks like. We know what the system looks like. Why are we doing unboxing videos 2 weeks away from the launch of the console? Can we see game, people? Can we see how games play on the actual system? Because up until now, we have seen stuff from Sony and other developers. We've seen their CGI trailers and things like that, and we've seen some gameplay. But Microsoft, over a month ago, put the Xbox Series X in people's hands and had them actually show off gameplay. Even if it was only backward compatible gameplay, at least we saw actual gameplay of people playing on the Series X. We have not seen anything like that from Sony yet. And again, we are 2 weeks away from the launch of the console, and I have seen no one play a game on the PlayStation 5. I don't understand this stuff. What is happening here?
They got to keep the hype going. So I'm betting next week.
I know you are talking about the most hyped console of all time. The pre-order sold out in literally 10 minutes. How much more hype do you need? I need to see the box working. We're 2 weeks away. I need to see the box working. I feel like Sony tried to hide something from me. And I don't know how the rest of people feel, but I happen to know that I pre-ordered from Amazon. And Amazon has a very good return policy. So if something going on with the box that they don't want us to know about, and I find out when I get my box in the house, it's going back, okay? Don't be trying to hide your product, Sony. Show your work. We're 2 weeks away. We know what the damn box looks like. Show us what the game looks like. Show us the system running some games already. What are you doing?
They just want to keep the hype train going. So I bet you the NDA on the footage and this and that game.
There's more than enough hype out there for the PS5. Stop it.
So here's the thing. Most people would not be able to really appreciate the next generationness of the console through a YouTube video, right? I mean, Sony. I have a feeling that Sony's marketing plan is gonna ramp up quite quickly. We're gonna see streamers with PlayStation 5s. We're gonna see, So I think that we're gonna see what we're gonna see, but I don't think Sony wants to blow their wad right now.
Blow their wad? Again, we are 2 weeks away from the launch of the console.
It doesn't matter because nobody can buy one, so they're not trying to sell them. They want maximum bang for their marketing buck. And they're not going to get that from schmoes on YouTube. This is just a teaser. And Sony will have something to showcase what the console can really do in the hands of people who really know how to do it. No offense to like Marquez or any of the other people who are unboxing the PlayStation 5, but I think that Sony will find another venue for showcasing what the console can do. Now, I also know that the way that game development works, it is quite possible 2 weeks out that a lot of these games are not
Don't say it, Jason. Don't say it.
Well, they're not. I mean, that's why there's day one patches for every single game that ever happens. So, I mean, it's just Sony doesn't have any reason to show what they've got, right? They don't have any reason to. You're just worried about it because you paid money. But they don't have any reason. They've already sold out. They're not selling another one until, whenever. Again, it doesn't matter.
Return policies exist, okay? Return policies exist. Just as
Yeah,
quick as
you're
I
not
brought
going to
one.
return the PlayStation 5. Here's the
But I won't if it don't work right and get him going back, Jason, and going back.
Viper, you're being ridiculous. Okay?
How am I being ridiculous?
Because
Did we not have the red ring of death like what? All those years ago?
all those years ago, yes, that was the Xbox 360, and it wasn't even that much of a big deal. It wasn't like every Xbox had the red ring of death.
Oh no, but it was a big deal, Jason. Don't say it wasn't a big deal. It was a very big deal.
And the thing is, if you think that you're going to get your PlayStation 5 and you're going to hook it up to your TV and everything is going to work smoothly day one, then you have way oversized expectations. Because it's...
Can you please repeat that? Because I know you're right, but that just sounds ridiculous coming out of your mouth.
No, I mean, this isn't a blender. It's not like a refrigerator. You know, this is a brand new.
I don't know, man. Microsoft did make that fridge for
Oh yeah, I guess Justine and Jenna did get the Xbox refrigerator,
Oh my god.
but I don't think that plays games. But here's the thing. It's gonna be a long road for this next generation of consoles to really show what they're capable of. It's not gonna happen day one. There's gonna be some showcase titles like Miles Morales, and that game will show us something of what is possible. Cyberpunk 2077 is probably the game that everybody is looking to really show us what it can do, but I guess I'm seeing here in the comments that Cyberpunk got delayed again. So this is what happens. This is game development. You know, it's just
can
how it is.
Microsoft show off the capabilities of the Xbox, but Sony's hiding?
Well, because to me, this is what I see. The Xbox Series X is not that much different than the Xbox One X. And so they didn't have as big it's possible they didn't have to jump as far. I mean, we saw the Halo footage. It looked like dog shit. Right?
Somebody clip that! Somebody clip it!
So maybe Microsoft is in a better position to show off what they're capable of doing with the Xbox Series X, because it's not that much different than what they were already doing. Now we already know that the Xbox One X was further ahead of the Sony PlayStation 4 Pro when it came to what it was capable of doing. So maybe Microsoft is, they're working on a different timetable. But Sony's looking for serious bang for the buck.
I just think they're just trying to stretch out the marketing, the time, and to get the hype. And I don't think there's no way there's serious problems with it and everything like that. It's just that Microsoft decided to do it this way, and Sony has done it this way. And there's a timeline, and then there's only so many consoles that'll be available for North America or whatever area you're in for 2020. So they need to stretch out that hype. And that's it.
I hope you're right, Zach. I hope you're right.
There's nothing being hidden. There's no way.
They're just now putting these PlayStations and journalists and American journalists and YouTubers' hands 2 weeks out. So if there is a problem with the PlayStation, they don't even have time to fix it.
See, I don't remember specifically, but I don't recall a bunch of people having PlayStation 4s to do a ton of gameplay and show people what it's capable of before the PlayStation 4 came out.
And this is how many years has it been since PlayStation 4 came out? 4 or 5 years?
7. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so if you're releasing consoles, we'll say every 7 years, you want to extend out this. It's like for example, YouTube is completely different now. The marketing influence, sphere, the way things are done nowadays is completely different than what it was 7 years ago, right? We're talking about a time now where Google's giving out devices to people, and we have all different sizes of influencers, or what do you want to call themselves, YouTubers, whatever, that are being invited to different things. This wouldn't have never even happened even 2 years ago, right? So if you're releasing a console every 7 years, 7 years, you want to extend that out. I don't think there's nothing being hidden. It's just that they've
no, Andrew. No. You can't compare this to an iPhone or an Apple release. You're talking about something that gets released every year, like clockwork. There's not going to be that many issues with an iPhone released every year. We're talking about a console cycle that happens like that once every 7 years. I want to make sure that things are as right as possible. And with Sony doing their marketing like this, I feel like they might be trying to hide something. I don't know. I hope not.
If you're that concerned, I would say wait till January or February to get one.
Yeah, cancel your pre-order and give it to me. I'll pay you. I'll pay you for your pre-order if you're that worried about it.
I'm going to be canceling my pre-order.
Take the PS5 on day one, and then you can wait and see if Sony's trying to pull a fast one. Okay, I'll give you $600.
No, I mean the fact that they did that breakdown. Did you guys watch that video from Sony where they took it apart? Did you guys watch that video where they took it apart? The video from Sony where they took it apart?
Oh yeah,
they took the. That's awesome. That's really cool that they showed that. I mean, they're that confident, and rightfully so through their testing and everything, to take it apart, right? To show everybody the inside. Have they done that with the Xbox?
So
yeah, they did that. They did that back in the summer with the Xbox.
yeah, Austin Evans
Austin Evans
went over and took the whole thing apart. Now, DePoets says, thank you for the $5 super chat, by the way. Damn, I can't imagine. Woo! Damn, I can't imagine waiting 7 years to upgrade my PC.
Yeah, so I got a question for the poets. How often do you upgrade your PC?
Well, but wait, I got
It's
an
a
answer
weekly
to this.
basis. If you follow his TikTok, it's like a weekly thing.
I've got an answer for this. Okay, now see, this is where the folks in the PC Master race are a little clouded in their vision. Okay, so consoles are made for long-term use. They're over-engineered for what they're capable of doing at the time that they are released. And then along the way, they grow into their capabilities. And as such, they don't need to be updated as often. Whereas PCs, the minimum requirements of running a game on a PC and the maximum requirements and the maximum possibilities for running a game on a PC are so different that, I mean, there are people out there who probably still running like i7 4700 chips and running AAA games today, right? It's not really the same thing as PCs and consoles are not the same thing. They're not built the same way for the same reasons to do the same things. So I'm a PC guy, but I'm also a console guy. There's something really comforting about being able to fire up the console and be playing your game within 30 seconds, and you didn't necessarily have to spend like $200 to be able to play that game because your graphics card of the moment won't push it.
To further highlight Jason's point, I believe the original Xbox One was designed where it didn't need to be turned off for 10 years. They designed it in such a way where you could turn it on and not turn it off for 10 years and it would just still run. So yeah, they're definitely built for the long term.
And I will say this though, I think that this is the last last generation of consoles.
Don't say it. Nope, Jason, you're wrong.
No, by the time 7 years from now, 5G will mature. Speeds will be much faster. People will be able to stream games at a high level, and there will be no need for a console anymore.
You just said that you don't mind turning on your console and booting up a game and getting right into it.
But you can do that you can do that faster if you're just turning on your TV and opening up an app. I'm telling you, 5G and the speeds that 5G is going to open up as it matures is going to change the way that we even think about anything. So
I agree with you. I think 5G will usher in the new era of cloud gaming, but I don't think it's going to get rid of consoles, though. Not at all. Mm-mm.
Consoles. This is going to be the last hurrah for consoles.
Not at all. But let me just say, if console,
hold on.
Go ahead.
These two consoles are just a butthole hair's width away from being a PC.
They are PC, Jason.
So, at a certain point, there's like a vanishing point where consoles and PCs will no longer there's no longer a difference.
No. See, the difference is that these consoles are optimized for the software that they run. You got PCs, like you just said earlier, you got PCs that are all types of hardware. You got 3090s and 2070s. Like there's no uniformity with PCs. With the consoles, you got uniformity, and that makes it easier to develop games.
But not really, because you have to develop on. Okay, consoles were created as a solution to a problem. The hardware necessary to run games on a self-built or pre-built computer was not something that many people could afford to buy. So Sony, Atari, all these people figured out how to make versions of these games that did not have the same kind of technical requirements, and so they could be played more readily on lesser spec machines that were cheaper to make. That's what a console exists for. But now, if a console is the same as a PC, then we don't need a console anymore. That's the
A
end.
console is built like a PC, but it's not the same as
But
PC.
the reason it's not the same is because at one time it wasn't feasible for it to be the same. At one time, a console was a workaround to get games in people's hands. Now, the consoles are, if they're as powerful as PCs, there's no reason for a console to exist. And so, therefore, the next generation of a console is going to be, you buy a PlayStation controller and a little box, and it hooks up to your internet, and that's where you play your games.
The problem with your logic is that PCs are all over the place. They're kind of like Android with their fragmentation, Jason. They're fragmented. There's no uniformity.
No, it's not. I'm not saying PCs versus consoles. No. I'm saying that consoles cease to exist because they no longer have to exist. They have reached the vanishing point. They've reached that sort of crossed the uncanny valley where a console was over here because it couldn't do what the things over here could do, right? And so now a console can do almost everything that a PC can do. So there's no reason for there to be a console.
Just because a console is as powerful as a PC doesn't mean it's no more longer a console. I mean, it's still a console.
But what the console is going to be is not going to be what you're going to buy in this generation. In this generation, you're buying sort of a Frankenstein of a PC and an old idea. That's basically what these consoles are. They're a PC stuck into an old idea, sold at a reasonable price point for the masses. But there's no.
I think I kind of understand what you're saying. So you're saying that the idea of a console is going to change.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
It's gonna. I mean, you're gonna have a box as big as your Apple TV. In fact, it might be your Apple TV.
Ah, okay. Now I get you. Okay, I can.
And you so this whole console war thing will end because everything will just be standardized. What you're playing on the PC is what you're playing on the Xbox. What you're playing on the PlayStation. I mean, Microsoft owns Xbox. There's no reason for an Xbox to exist except for the fact that people can't afford to spend $1,000 on a computer.
Oh, I kind of misunderstood you, but I think I understand you now. You're not saying that consoles aren't needed. You're just saying that consoles are evolving, basically.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, consoles were necessary for the past 40 years because having the computer that could do the same thing or something like it was not feasible for the majority of people. So it solved a problem. But now that problem doesn't exist because the console is being sold at a price point that's like reasonable still, I guess, sort of, $500, whatever. But it's not any different than the PC that you could also get for cheaper.
Yeah, Jason is all the way into the future. He's all the way into the future right now.
Well, that's the thing. As soon as the new console generation comes out, you start thinking, like, what's the next generation of a console going to be? Yeah. And the next generation of a console, if you look at the way that technology is moving, everything is no longer physical. Everything, like, internet's getting faster and faster, and faster internet speeds are becoming more and more available to more and more people. So if you look ahead 6 or 7 years from now, all you need is an HDMI 2.1 cable and a little box and a controller. Or maybe the next console is actually VR. VR is still too early for its time.
We've been saying that for 40 years.
It's still true, though. It's still true. When VR can do what VR is capable of doing, then VR will be the new norm.
Now, we both know technology does not take that long to evolve. If VR ain't
absolutely it does.
Now, VR is not getting there, okay?
William Gibson created a lot of the terminology that we use for the internet in the late 1970s, 20 years before the internet existed. Okay? And we still use this terminology to this day. A lot of the stuff that we are seeing as normal now, go back and read Isaac Asimov. Go back and read some of these science fiction writers from the 50s, and you'll see that it's only now possible to do what was science fiction is now science fact.
I am so sorry. It looks like you want to jump in, Zach, but I got to talk to this man.
Oh,
Jason?
I'm enjoying watching you freak out.
Jason, VR is going to be what is now, probably in the next 5, 10, 20 years. We all know, Jason, that AR is the future of mobile technology and where technology is going.
AR is the same, but see, here's the thing. AR is just the same thing as foldable phones. It's an in-between technology. It's not really...
What? What? Did you really just say that out loud?
Yeah, AR is going to be normal. It's going to be a thing that happens, but it's not what VR is going to be. Okay.
Wait, what are you saying? What are you saying?
Think about this. Okay? We've just had a major breakthrough out of necessity in live streaming, in all of this different stuff, because we had to. We had to figure out how to get kids into school without being able to go to school. In 2025, in 2020, no, let's say by 2030, kids will not go to school. They will put on a VR headset and tactile gloves, and then they will go into the cloud and attend whatever school they want. That's what it's going to be.
I can see that.
So, and AR will be built into everything, you know, and your phone or whatever it is that you're carrying will be the thing that shows you the AR stuff until they start to make the prosthetics for the eyeballs. Okay? But VR is going to create an entire new reality. Virtual reality, where people go and live a big portion of their lives because these pandemics aren't going to go away and people are going to be too poor to do a lot of stuff.
You ever seen Ready Player One?
Yes, I have. I read the book. And
the book's good, yeah, but the movie is actually really well done too.
So VR is the future. VR is where your kids are going to grow up.
VR will be part of the future, but the actual future is AR. At some point, the pandemic is going to be gone, and we're going to be mobile.
AR is not the same thing as VR.
No, it's not. Exactly my point. It's not the same thing as VR. VR forces you to be stationary. AR integrates naturally with the world around you. And once we get moving again, AR is going to come to the forefront.
But here's the thing. What are you doing right now?
That's right now. Right now.
No. Right now, you are stationary.
Right now, yes.
In 10 years, we'll be doing the same thing, but we'll be talking to microphones that are attached to VR headsets.
In 10 years, we won't be in a room that we, God willing,
in a room that we all like kind of occupy in a virtual space. That's what we'll be doing in 10 years. This will seem like, you know, 2 cans and a string in 10 years. That's what AR is going to be great because, you know, businesses will be able to advertise their daily special, you know, or whatever. But that is pedestrian compared to virtual space where people interact.
I'm not arguing with you that VR can be part of the future. I believe you. Like, there are going to be VR classrooms and VR environments and things like that. But VR is not going to be the mainstream future.
AR is going to
be the mainstream future. Oh, no, it's not.
VR is going to be everything. VR is going to be everything. VR is going to be, you know, everybody sits around and they talk about how, oh, geez, you know, these kids these days, they're staring at their phones, you know, is it hurting them? Is it helping them? Is it blah, blah, blah? Imagine what they're going to talk about whenever kids won't take the VR headset off because they're in a different reality and they don't want to exist in the real world. It's like, Mom, I'm talking to my friends. We're over on like Alpha Prime hanging out, you know, drinking some whatever.
So you're basically saying that the human race is going to turn to a bunch of VR robots. That's what you're saying.
Yes. I mean,
no,
we are. Oh my God, Viper, look, what are you going to do when you're done with this? You're going to go sit on your ass in front of your TV, right? The only difference between VR and you sitting on your ass in front of your TV is you put the TV on your head. Americans, the world is already completely sucking the tit of like this consumer thing, right? So VR is the natural next point. AR is for advertising.
Jason, before you became a full-time YouTuber, what did you do every day of your life, Jason? What did you do?
I went to a job.
That's right. You left the house, right? Which means you went out into the world, Jason. Which is what most people do. They don't
not
sit in the house
anymore.
all day, Jason. They go out into the world. That's
Not
why
anymore.
AR is the future.
Not anymore.
You're letting the pandemic cloud your judgment, okay? This pandemic can put you in, Jason. And when
the pandemic is.
They're already going back out to the world, Jason. People can't even do what they're supposed to do right now.
And why do you think so many people are dying? Because people are stupid. People are stupid, and they can't let go of the fact that they feel like they have to live through this old model, right?
Sometimes I feel like Sometimes I feel like Little John has taken over Viper's.
Yeah, listen, man. The thing about humans is that human beings have a natural yearning to connect with each other.
Unless and that's what
VR
we're doing.
cannot be the future.
That's what I mean. You guys are the only friends I have. So,
I love you too.
I mean, I don't barely even know a person in my town.
I love you, but we're not normal, Jason. We are outliers.
The people who are the early adopters are the ones who show the future. We are showing the world the future right now because we are on this edge of the change.
You made him take off his sunglasses. This is an epic moment.
But the thing is, like, the pandemic is the wake-up call. The pandemic is the moment where we realize that we already done fucked up. And it's not going to really get any better. So lifestyles are going to change. People are going to, even when the pandemic lifts and everybody can go back outside, right? People are going to say, like, well, I used to drag my ass to that office and sit there and do nothing and pretend that I was doing something. And the cost of having that office for the company was huge. And that doesn't make any sense. If the company can spend $3,000 on getting me set up to do my work at home and not have to spend $50,000 a month on having a physical building for me to go to, then that makes more sense for the company. So a lot of people who do whatever jobs they do, if they don't actually have to be physically present to do the job, they will not be.
Look at us, Jason. We were talking last week offline about doing something that normally you would need a large space to store.
Yeah, the
things.
infrastructure that you would have to have is
and
huge.
now you and I are going to be able to do this via clicking a few things. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, what Zach's talking about, stuff like fulfilled by Amazon, right? It used to be if you wanted to start a business selling a trinket of whatever sort, you had to travel to China and meet with the people and look at the samples and blah 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 and have a warehouse and have a trucking company and have all this stuff put in place. Nowadays, you can look on the internet. You can get your sample mailed to you. You can say, dear Amazon, I would like to sell this for $25. And Amazon will take it from the Chinese manufacturer. They will send it to the customer. They will take their portion of the bill, and then they will give the rest to you. You never have to touch a product. That is something that is unbelievable. I saw Andrew say, imagine somebody talking about stuff like this in 1970. If you would have told a manufacturer in 1970, or a Detroit car person in 1970, that the need for any kind of physical infrastructure for manufacturing in the United States of America would no longer be necessary, they would have laughed you out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
But the United States of America is no longer it's no longer a manufacturing company. It's no longer a country that manufactures anything. We consume.
Yeah.
And so as long as we have the ability to continue to consume, then it's just going to get easier and easier because it's the better mousetrap theory, man. The
So
easier
somebody,
it is for you to
the
get in
future,
front of
man.
somebody, that's what ends up happening. So imagine you're scrolling Amazon in bed on your phone, right? Well, imagine if you could just like grab your VR goggles, pop them on, start scrolling Amazon. You can see what the thing's going to look like in your room. You can see what it's going to look like on your own personal avatar that you made for yourself. That's built to scale. It's we're gonna live inside a VR headset. That's all.
somebody in the chat said that they believe that work from home will be the future, and I absolutely agree with that. I like Jason was just saying, if company can cut costs and allowing a lot of their employees to work from home will drastically cut costs, I believe that is definitely the way for the future. I mean, even at my current job, they were talking about how work from home wasn't even a thing before the pandemic, but now it's a thing, and they're actually factoring into their business model moving forward. Working from home is not going anywhere. It is the future, and the future is now because companies see that working from home reduces overhead, kind of reduces their costs, fattens their bottom line. So work from
As
home
long
is
as the efficiency is still there, right? So there are some people that are not disciplined enough to work from home. It is very important. This is a different conversation.
Then they get
it's
fired.
very well. It's really important if you're new to working from home. If you're new to working from home, you need to have a separate space. So if you're setting up your laptop for months on end just at your kitchen table, and that's the same kitchen table you sit at the end of the day to have dinner, it's the same kitchen table you sit at when you're doing your banking. Like, no, you need to have a physical, because it'll hit you here. I'm telling you right now.
But I mean, look at how home spaces have changed over the years. What is now our TV room used to be our sitting room. You know, we used to have so many different uses for the same kinds of rooms, and now with this work from home thing, just look at what's selling on Amazon. Look what people are having to buy. You know, look at the fact that for 6-8 months you couldn't buy a Cam Link or a C920 webcam or any of that kind of stuff. People are going to take what's necessary now and they're sort of like jerry-rigging it, right? They're going to eventually, it's going to evolve into a part of how their home works, right? Because it'll have to. I mean, the thing is, it's going to be economics as much as it's going to be health and safety. I mean, and I used to think that, you know, well, I'm a teacher, so I'll never be out of a job, right? Because you'll always need teachers to show up to teach people. Well, now that I'm not sure that's entirely true, as long as the teacher shows up in some way. You know, is the physical presence necessary? Andrew's bringing up the point of there are doctors who will perform surgeries via like just, there's cybernetics, there's all this kind of stuff. Doctors, when I was working at the med school, there were doctors who were actually helping other doctors in like, you know, Guatemala, third world countries, who still had like clubfoot is a thing that a lot of research had been done and techniques had been developed at the University of Iowa in the healthcare department. And so these young doctors were talking these people through doing these clubfoot surgeries that could never have been done because no one had the training, right? And now, as Andrew says, doctors can remotely perform surgeries, and you know, just wait until we get like the health bots that are capable of doing everything, and then, you know,
There's definitely an advantage still having that physical presence and everything. So everything got cut off here, much like everywhere else in North America, here in Calgary, and in Canada, like in March, right? The kids were not supposed to be out of school till end of June, July-ish, right? So, and then they went back to school back in September. And we adapted really quickly here because we have computers and this and that and microphones, all kind of stuff. And I set up spaces for my kids to do their Zoom calls and things like that while they were, and, you know, log in and get their assignments or anything like that. And for the most part, my kids did pretty good. But for example, with my daughter has a little bit of a lisp when she says her S's and things like that. And my son's having some challenges with math, nothing outlandish, but right. But I've seen a definite, they're definitely absorbing education and what they're learning in school from physically being there as compared to being at home.
Well,
right?
I think that age has something to do with that. Like, you know, a first grader is not going to be able to go to first grade via Zoom. You know that
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not feasible. But somebody in junior high or high school can definitely have the classroom experience that they need to have. You know, along with and then like extracurriculars spread out, and you know, accessed in different ways. I think there's always going to be a necessity for humans to teach little humans how to be humans. But once we get beyond that, and it's just about like accruing knowledge and gaining skills, it's not as important. So
You know what? This whole thing reminds me of that scene in Demolition Man when me and Jason were arguing about AR versus VR. There's a thing, I don't know if you guys have seen in the chat or either Jason or Zach. I'm guessing you guys have seen Demolition Man.
When it came out like 20, 30 years ago, whatever.
I saw a version the other day on TV that had all the Taco Bell stuff changed to Pizza Hut.
They're owned by the
They
same
changed it
company.
over, and they dubbed it to Pizza Hut.
There's a
Anyway.
scene in Demolition Man where Stallone and Sandra Bullock are together in an apartment in the future, and they're going to have sex.
Yeah.
But it's not sex in the way that you think it's sex. It's not touching and feeling and doing all that sexual stuff that we do right now. Basically, to what Jason was talking about earlier in this podcast, Sandra Bullock put on a headset. She had John Stallone put on a headset, and they were having sex virtually. That's where Jason thinks we're going. I don't know about that. All that.
Have you not seen?
All right, I'm ready for sex. Let's go.
Have you not seen VR porn?
Right.
VR porn is a real thing. It's been around
I
for
know it's a
years.
real thing.
It's a real thing. I mean, how many people? How many people do you think go to Pornhub every night
I didn't do exactly do.
and rub one out, as opposed to couples having sex?
We a deep out of time.
I mean,
Right?
depending on how long you've been married. I mean,
Well, I'm just saying, like Pornhub is an incredibly successful website for a reason.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They have a great business model. They've got something that people want that they can't get anywhere else. Okay? So I think that like
Careful, Jason. We got kids watching.
people's proclivities toward those kinds of things will evolve. Let's say.
can't believe we're going here with the podcast. Like, we started talking about iPhones, and now
Let's
Anyway,
just say that I did not bring this up. Okay?
No, don't blame me.
you know what? That's right,
You.
Viper, you pervert. You
No, don't blame
dirty.
me. I was talking about boxes on heads. He just went way out there.
But you're acting like it's something that's like way out of the realm of possibilities. But people do it every night. They sit in front of their iPad in a dark room in bed with a sock or something every night.
what the?
Am I wrong?
No comment, Jason. Calm down. This is a family podcast.
Yeah, a little Jergens, a couple of paper towels.
All right, so wow, we're gonna transition and try to hold on.
Podcast. Save the podcast.
I am the original host, so I get to say this. Okay, we're gonna transition. Okay, everybody, take a deep breath.
I can't.
And we discussed this a little bit offline last week. And I wanted, because there's 175 people here. At one point I saw 195. Okay, so we'll say 200 people here tonight. I want to ask the people, and between the three of us here, because something significant's happening next Tuesday in the United States. However, we probably will not know the results until either late that night or even the next day. Hold on, Jason. So I question it. The question for everybody is this: do we do this podcast next Monday, so move it back, or do we do it on Tuesday a week from now, like we normally would, as to give some people a distraction, knowing full well, but by the time we're done within an hour and a half, 2 hours, the results will still probably not be there. I'm in favor of either or, but I want to hear from people.
Well, I'll let the people in the chat say whether or not
If you all think this podcast has gone off the rails right now, if we do this next Tuesday night, it's gonna be 1,000 times worse than it is tonight. It's gonna go all the way off the rails.
Well, no, because we won't talk about that kind of stuff. But I mean,
It won't be our fault. It'll be their fault. It's on it. It's gonna be their fault.
I think Monday makes more sense because what could be the reality of Tuesday is so volatile. And I don't think I mean, I know that I am going to be glued to the television and not really able to think of anything else. So if we have the podcast, we are going to be talking about the election. And that's all there is to it.
This is not the place for that.
So
in regards to everybody, like he did say election. I know we were talking about something before. He did say election.
Oh my Jesus Lord!
I mean, we've already gone there tonight, so whatever.
Oh,
yeah,
my
I know,
Lord.
but you were the one who was supposed to bring us back.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I know. I failed. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Taco Bell's already closed. I can't even do that now. I mean, so I'm kind of ticked
is
off.
Taco Bell code for something?
No, like Taco Bell. It's Tuesday, dude. Hold on.
I thought you meant your wife had gone to bed or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. Mrs. Zach with the hey, it's Taco Tuesday. No. Jesus.
I think Monday makes more sense to me. I will not. I want to pay attention to Tuesday. It's quite possible, given the number of people that have voted it earlier than usual. It's quite possible that we'll have a much better idea of what's happening, like right away, than ever.
I don't think so. We're not going to know Tuesday. We're not going to know Wednesday. I think it'll be at least a week, if maybe longer, before we know the official result.
No, I don't think so.
Either way, I don't really want to talk politics at all. So I'm not even in favor of this whole Tuesday idea.
I'm just saying, if we did it Tuesday, it would be a nice distraction for some people because we're not going to have the results within the time that we're doing the show.
But he already said he's going to talk politics. No.
But I'm going to be completely like only thinking about that. I mean, seriously, you have to remember, I have worn black for 4 years because of this. Exclusively black. For 4 years.
I am not going on a podcast talking politics. I don't do that.
So, yeah. We'll continue to think about it. But okay. I feel like I feel like maybe Tuesday's a bad idea. That's
Tuesday will be a viperless idea. That's what that's going to be.
Andrew, Andrew, here's the thing. I mean, if tacos aren't possible anymore, that means Pornhub never closes, man. Pornhub's available 24/7. Oh, we got a thumbs down. We got 7 thumbs down. Well, I mean, hey, can't please everybody.
Hey,
and actually,
unless you're Pornhub.
It's my in the chat. If you do it on Tuesday, you're gonna have less people watching the podcast. So it's probably best to do
all
it
right.
Monday.
Let's wrap things up with a round of what we're watching. Right now, I'm not watching anything on TV, but I am looking forward to The Mandalorian.
Yeah, there you go. This is easy, baby. Baby Yoda is back, people. He's back.
Well, technically, Viper, he's named the child, but hey, whatever.
Hey, we don't say that. We don't say that here.
I know.
Yeah. What are you watching right now, Viper?
I'm not. Well, I was watching. Why? I'm watching Terrain, but I didn't watch this week's episode. I'm gonna wait until the end of the week so I can finish it up because it's the season finale on Friday. So I'm just gonna watch last week and this week on Friday or whatever. And Baby Yoda, baby, we're all watching Baby Yoda.
I'm still making my way through Star Trek Discovery. I started watching Curse of the Civil War Gold, which, I mean, there's no curse, but you know, they got to brand it. It's the same guys from Curse of Oak Island. So
Oh, I was gonna have a suggestion. There is a really great. It's on a channel here in Canada called Showcase. It's with David Schwimmer. It's a British comedy, but with David Schwimmer, and it's called Intelligence. If
wow,
you get a chance, watch
David Schwimmer's in a comedy called Intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh, now your camera is too hot.
Damn.
Zach's camera is too hot. It's all that Pornhub talk.
Yeah,
Wow.
too much sexual talk there, man.
I have not had it. I have not had that happen in a long time. Let me see if I can pick it. I have not had it happen in a long.
You
Damn.
switched it up. Ooh.
Now we're back over. Now we're on the webcam. See,
This is the C920. Yeah.
I'm about halfway through, maybe a little bit more than halfway through season 2 of Discovery, and I have to say, season 1 was really awesome. I know that all the anti-wokers out there didn't like it for whatever reason. I don't know. Whatever was going on there. I really enjoyed it, and season 2 has been kind of slow, but it's starting to get interesting. So that's my take on it right now.
Also, Andrew Edwards, I watched your LG C10 video today, and you told me that you haven't watched Terrain yet, but in your video, it was right there front and center on your LG C10, Andrew. So I'm just gonna need you to take your little remote control, point the arrow over Terrain, and click watch, Andrew. You need to watch it. Come on now.
No more. Okay. No, it's all in good fun.
Yeah, I think we're done. I hope we're done.
It's all in good fun. I just want to remind people that I didn't start it. So anyway,
Where's the button?
I haven't watched On the Rocks yet, the Bill Murray Rashida Jones thing, but I do want to see it. And that's a movie that I kind of feel like I have to be in the mood to watch. So yeah, but people, it's been fun. It's been fun. It's been something.
Before we go, Jason, you. I know Andrew talking about embargoes in the chat, and I know you got more experience with this than me and Zach probably, Jason. But when an embargo is in place,
yeah,
when the embargo is lifted, that does not mean you have to have a video out by the time the embargo lifts. That just means that at
you can go after
point,
yeah,
that just means that after that point you can then post videos. But that doesn't mean you have to post videos exactly when the embargo lifts. I don't know why creators feel like they are in such a rush to have stuff posted when the embargo lifts. Like, I don't understand.
People
you know as well
first.
as we do with the traction with people looking, you'll get into the suggested and all that kind of stuff, right? So
yeah, people want to be first. So yeah, but see, the thing is, like,
you don't have to be first though.
I understand the desire to be first, because if you're making videos about things that are top of mind, you know, and trending or whatever, then you're gonna have the possibility of being in there. At different points in your career, being first matters more or less. So, like Marquez always says, I don't care about being first. Yeah, because he's Marquez and he can make a video and 5 million people will watch it whenever, right? So, but if you're somebody who has something that's, you know, embargoed, like, you know, embargoes all work differently too from what my experience is, which is limited compared to some other folks who are here in the chat. But some embargoes can be pretty detailed about what you can and can't do and when, while others can be just like, well, don't show the product until this day, right? So, like with the TCL stuff, the embargo lifted today, but I didn't have time to do a TCL video today, so, you know, but I'll do it, and people will watch it. But part of that is, like, you know, what's the best way to say this? TCL is not like an iPhone in the sense that, like, on day one, millions of people are gonna go and try and find TCL phone videos, right? It's a slower burn, so you don't have to be, like, right on time. But with iPhone stuff, it's different.
You said earlier, or I think you just said like a minute or so ago, Jason, that you said that Marquez doesn't care about embargoes. I am pretty sure he was the first one today with a PS5 video out on YouTube,
Well, yeah.
and he got the reward. He's number one on trending because of that. So he cares. Now.
That's why he was first. But I mean, he put out his iPhone like first look like Sunday, right? So
yeah, right.
I mean, there are some things that somebody the size of Marquez is going to get views no matter when it happens, right?
He's number 3 on trending from what I can see here with that
So-
video. With that
We
PS5.
won early today.
But I mean,
Yeah, number 3.
if he is one of the 15
Crazy.
or 20 people who's going to have the opportunity to do a PS5 video on the day that Sony says they can do it, he's going to do it.
Justine's
Oh, he
also on
did it.
trending, but it's further down. It's way
Yeah.
further down. She's number 27.
But I mean, that's like a totally select group of people. So and Sony can probably be a little bit more strenuous about how much they want you to do that video. I mean, like Andrew says, his iPad Air is still in the plastic, but the embargo lifted last week because I mean the iPad Air got some recognition, right? But iPad Air release, like a month after it was announced or whatever that was, is not as big a deal as like, iPhone day one.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised
Renee,
I'm surprised that Dr. Disrespect didn't do something today with the PS5 unless maybe consoles aren't his thing. I don't
He's a PC
absolutely
guy.
know.
Yeah, he's a
He
PC.
probably got a custom PS5 coming his way. But yeah, Renee, Marquez in the video is definitely it was on embargo board. I'm saying it's like he cares about that stuff because, like I said, his PS5 video was the very first one I saw pop up on YouTube today, and it was number one on the trending for pretty much most of the day. So he definitely cares about being out there quickly.
But what I'm saying is, and he said this in multiple videos of his own, and I think I even heard him say this on your podcast, like the first time he was here. It's not important to him to be first,
Right.
because he's people watch his videos for lack of anything more.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but when you were one of 20 people who gets to put out a video unboxing the thing that is going to be the biggest news story of the next 3 months, then you hit the deadline. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if it was an iPad, for example, I don't think Marquez has covered the iPad yet, has he?
I don't think so.
No.
And for
I think-
those
I
on
think-
the chat talking about how TTO is bad, y'all are misinformed. TTO is not bad at all. It's not trash.
No,
No, it's good
they make
stuff.
they make
Really good
quality
stuff.
stuff. They make quality stuff. I mean,
They do.
I have a Series 4 4K HDR, whatever it is upstairs. I've had it for, it'll be a year in November, so I'm extremely happy with it. And they don't even sell that model anymore. If you can get a Series 4, they're extremely affordable.
Yeah. So the embargo stuff is, I found the more you get offered stuff, the more it's like, okay, I have to decide if this is as important as this other thing. And so for Marquez, like Renee says here, he's really smart. He's not going to rush a review, but he's still going to have something like an unboxing up for the embargo. Like the unboxing is a no-brainer video, right? But Marquez is not going to worry about being the first to review the PlayStation 5, let's say.
Oh, right.
Because the quality is the quality of the product that he puts out is more important than the timeliness of that product.
And he'll be busy playing a PS5 as well. He'll be busy playing that bad boy.
Yeah.
2 weeks, people. We are 2 weeks away from the launch of next generation consoles. Get excited, baby. Get excited.
I can't get excited. I'm not going to get one.
Oh yeah, before we go though, for those of y'all that didn't get a pre-order in and you really think you're gonna line up outside of a store this year and get a console, don't do it. You're gonna be heartbroken. It ain't happening.
Trying to crush the dreams of all of us plebes.
I'm just being honest. It's not happening. I don't see it.
I don't know. Well, who cares?
All right.
Who cares? I got a PC.
Cucumber.
Look, oh yeah, that's when you interrupted me early in the podcast. That's what I want to say. Listen, you PC mastering people. On November 10th, no one is going to be gaming on PC. Okay, you either got a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox
Nobody.
Series X. No one is going to care about gaming on PC come November 10th. Y'all enjoy your little PC mastering monkey crap now, but on November 10th, consoles rule.
I mean, you could. You know how many people are on Steam playing PC games at any one given moment? I think the average is like 3 to 4 million people at any time. So those people are not going to stop. They're not. I mean, what are they going to? They give up their bandwidth or something? I mean, a lot of people are going to play console games, but the people who are playing on PC are not going to care.
Here's a question. Because I don't know about this stuff because I haven't owned a PlayStation. I mean, when the last PlayStation I owned didn't have network, right? Like we didn't have this whole multi-downloading stuff. I had discs, right? So does the PlayStation and the new Xbox, PlayStation 5, the new Xboxes, do they have wireless or do you have to plug in a network cable?
They have wireless.
Oh, they do have wireless.
Yeah,
although
sucks.
the PlayStation supports Wi-Fi 6, the Xbox does not. But they
Gotcha.
both support Wi-Fi.
I mean, but still, the best practice is hardwire.
Yeah.
But if you're just playing on your own or single player, you can download that via your Wi-Fi and away you go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking when you say experience, you mean multiplayer, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiplayer online stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now that crossplay is a thing, and I can play with the people that I play. Like I played PlayStation all the time because I had a group of people that I played with. But now that I can play crossplay on a PC and still play with those people, I don't really care as much about the PlayStation. So,
Yeah, the poll is the PS5 does support Wi-Fi 6. The Xbox Series X does not.
but in order for you to utilize Wi-Fi 6, you have to have a Wi-Fi 6 router.
Yes. That's
And I just bought a router that's really good like a year and a half ago, so I don't want to buy another router. Anyway.
And Janosin, to answer your question before we go, I am more excited about the new consoles. I mean, the iPhones are what the iPhones are. We're talking about something that happens once every 7 years. I'm more excited about consoles. It is what it is.
Yeah, the consoles are going to be good for me because there's going to be gaming headset videos that people want to watch. And gaming headset videos are my evergreen content. So I'll get a lot of views on videos that I made a long time ago. I'll make some new videos to get some more views, and that will drive the bus for a while. And but still, until I can get a PlayStation 5, it's hard for me to give a crap. I'm sorry. That's just how it is.
Oh no. That's completely understandable. I probably feel the same way.
Yeah. But
gotta keep it out here.
All right.
But Zach is
Sorry.
playing the tune, and so
Yeah, Zach is out. He's trying to tell us that he needs to go celebrate his Taco Tuesday, so we got to go, people.
Well, once again, the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast has veered courageously off the rails into territory unknown to tech channels of any other stripe. And for better or worse, that's just what you get when you get the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. I mean, it's the internet, so it's tech, right? At any rate, yes. Thank you, Rich.
And shout out to Jason for the lively conversation between AR and VR. That was lit.
Well, I'm always happy to oblige. And you know what? It's always good to have those spirited conversations. I was ready to go to bed before this started. Now I'm going to go play some PC games. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for being here. Once again, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast with my friend Zach, my friend Viper, and myself and all of you lovely, lovely people. Until the next time, we are